So next week, the theme for Quest Wednesdays is beauty. What would you like to say about that, Darren?
Yeah, you know what? I think I've come to realize that beauty is really important to me in my life. It's not a word that I bandied around a lot in my past, but what I realized is that for me, beauty is really about how I receive the information around me. And therefore, it has the capacity to transform my lived experience. Um, what I realize is if I pay attention and I slow down, I start to see beauty in almost everything. I spent most of my life striving and looking to the future and not pausing and looking at what's around me. But I do remember an example, which was years ago. I used to have a business and we had a company credit card. And one of the perks of having the business was occasionally I'd use it to splash out on expensive hotels for a holiday or something like that. And when I sold the business, my saddest regret was having to hand over the credit card back because I no longer had that, advantage. And I went to Barcelona, and normally in Barcelona in the past, I'd gone to some quite fancy, lovely, beautiful hotels. And this time I thought, I don't really have the resources to do it. So I'm going to have to go back to that hostel that I went to in my early 20s, which is just off the Ramblas, really lovely, but very, very basic. And part of me is like, it's not going to be as beautiful. It's not going to be as nice. So I paid for my room, got to my room, and it's a very simple room. There's a window, but it doesn't look outside. It looks into an internal courtyard. And so I didn't have a view, and it's just a simple bed and a cabinet and what have you. And for a moment, I was like, this isn't as good. This isn't as beautiful. And then I thought, hold on and just pause a second. Just take in what you've got here. And what I had was, I opened the window and I could hear families, because all around this courtyard, there was a residential unit. I could hear families making food and having meals. And there's this amazing story of sound was coming through the window. And I lay on the bed and I thought, the bed's comfortable and a bed's a bed. It might not have the best Egyptian cotton sheets, but it's a bed. I'm resting, it's cool. I can hear these beautiful sounds coming through the window. And I thought I wouldn't get this in a hotel. It'd be sterile, it'd be different. So I kind of loved and appreciated the simpleness of that compared to what I kind of classified as being beautiful and rich and lush before. And I think I can apply that same principle to almost everything. So if I just pause and look, for instance, at the moment, I have a glass by me and there's sun reflecting off the glass, and there's a shadow, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So for me, beauty becomes available when I pause and when I stop judging things. When I'm not judging and I absorb things, I can see beauty almost anywhere. And that gives me a lot of peace, because I realize I don't need to seek beauty. I need to receive beauty.
Hmm.
What kind of ideas come up for you when you think of beauty, Ade?
Yeah, when I think of beauty, I think of it coming through in three areas. So I think of people, I think of places, and I think of things, items, and tied in with all those three areas are my experience of it. So that comes up for me. The other thing that comes up for me is the different levels to it. So there could be the surface stuff. So going back to the people, places, things, I can see from a very surface the aesthetics, or I can go deeper in terms of what that actually means, the meaning I'm making as a result of that. So the different dimensions. And then the other thing that comes to mind is what I'm telling myself about that thing that I'm looking at, or those people I'm looking at, or those places I'm looking at, what others are telling me about it, and what society, the images, the perception that society gives it as well. And so for me, it's not that clear cut, because there's so many things happening at different levels. And then tied in with that is around identity. What identity might I be deriving from that beautiful person, thing, place? Is it making me feel good, worthy enough? Is it making me feel less than, not good enough? the proximity to beauty is certainly something else that comes to mind. So for me, when I think of beauty in relationship to all of that, obviously I think of appealing to the eye. That's how I kind of define beauty in my mind, appealing to the eye. But the fact that it is so nuanced, it's so multi-layered, it's very often dependent on how I'm feeling within myself, the limiting beliefs, the messages I'm carrying, the messages that I might be receiving from society. So it's a complex subject, and it's multi-layered.
Wow, God, I just love what you were saying, and I could just sit and listen to you talking about beauty and conversing with you for a long time. I think it's going to be really rich, like you say. There's so much depth to the subject. It's going to be rich, and I think it's going to be beautiful. I mean, my intention is that we create something of beauty in the gathering of the guys to talk about the theme. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.